Some people at UCLA refer to me as Sam I Am, Green Eggs and Ham, because they saw me as the protagonist in Dr. Seuss's book of the same name, in which others resisted eating his green eggs and ham until they finally tried it and surprisingly liked it. Without my lifelong pursuit of play, I would not be who I am and doing what I do today. Sam I Am, try my green eggs and ham. Free yourself to play and reach beyond what you think is possible.
이 프로그램은 대한민국 과학기술정보통신부 방송통신발전기금으로 제작되었습니다.
I'm Dr. Sam On, and I am a vascular surgeon. Now, for those who don't know, a vascular surgeon saves lives and limbs by fixing pipes that carry blood throughout your body. Almost 70 years old now, I've been doing this for 40 years and plan to continue for decades more. Why? Because I can. And I want to. How? By using the power of lifelong play. Now let me share with you how play has shaped and empowered me personally and professionally. In 1954, shortly after the Korean War ended, my father, a medical doctor specializing in treating tuberculosis, and landed in New York City the same day that I was born. Thus, I was named Seung-hae, which I understand in Korean means over the ocean. Unfortunately, his old tuberculosis reactivated and destroyed one of his lungs. A big operation that left him with only one lung and incapable of returning to Korea. So his mentor, Howard Rusk of NYU, flew to Korea to personally meet with my mother and the Korean President Ri at the time to get our family special permission to immigrate to the United States, which post-war Korea did not normally allow at the time. Meanwhile, despite his hardships, my father continued to send money to support his family, and thus, life for me back in war-torn Korea was great. All I had to do was play. And play, I did. Here's a picture of us kids ice sledding with ice picks, but oblivious to the code and happy as a clam. In 1959, when I was 5, my family to immigrate from the Republic of Korea to the US. My mother, my brother, my 2 sisters, and I traveled to Boonville, Arkansas, in the Ozark Mountains. Now, in Boonville, I spent most of my time playing in the woods. My parents said that I was like a dog or a cat coming home only to eat and sleep. Soon, I was speaking only English, and my Korean, unfortunately, froze forever at the 5-year-old level. My parents tried to give me piano and Korean language lessons, but I resisted. I just went on playing as a free-range Ozark kid. When my dad tried to rein me in, I said, "Give me freedom. This is America, land of the free." He was so surprised to hear this coming from a 5-year-old kid that he acquiesced and left me alone to play. Notice the pine trees around the house? Well, my favorite was climbing the pine trees and trying to reach the very top of the tree. And as I challenged myself to get up to the very, very top, and occasionally succeeding, I learned to set my own goals, strategize how to reach them. And I discovered that my supposed limitation, my small size in that case, was actually an asset. Now, at age 6, I started flipping through my dad's medical books. Of course, I couldn't read most of the words, but I did understand most of the pictures and the diagrams. I soon started play acting as an army surgeon, treating my friends as soldiers with battlefield injuries. And here's the cast of the plays. Basically, I was the actor, director, and set designer of these plays. I had a great time. And that's when I decided that I wanted to become a real doctor when I grew up. Was there discrimination in Boonville? Clearly, yes. I was occasionally called jab, chink, or slant eyes. A few kids even tried to sabotage my school activities. Besides, playing with other kids minimized this discrimination. Play was the best thing to minimize this discrimination. As adolescence approached, however, play turned to team sports. I participated in all of them: baseball, basketball, track, and football. I was small by Texas standards, as you can see, and was often picked last. But once I got my chance, I excelled and used my quickness and agility to my advantage. Actually, in high school, I made the district all-star football team as a running back, and the Tyler newspaper nicknamed me Mighty Mouse. It was a reminder of what I had learned climbing trees in Boonville. Shortcomings can become a defining strength. Football also gave me the confidence and the strength and taught me the importance of hard work and team building. Sports also proved to be the great equalizer. Performance mattered more than the skin color, the shape of my eyes, or my size. Football in particular was the key to acceptance and beyond, especially in Texas, where football was king, and the community culture, later depicted in the movie Friday Night Lights, you may have seen, was very prominent. In fact, football in high school contributed to my election as class president during my 10th and 11th grades, and student body president during the 12th grade. But there was another reason. As one of the only 2 Asian families in a school of 2,000 students, I was neither white or black. And in the late 60s, it was a period of racial upheaval. So both ethnic groups voted for me as the neutral candidate. Being a school leader during these contentious years taught me a lot about conflict management, respect, compromise, perseverance, and humor. But also dealing with these entrenched racism also motivated me to seek other environments. So for college, I left Tyler and went to UT Austin, a very liberal college. And at age 20, I started medical school at UT Southwestern in Dallas. Now, the first year of medical school wasn't easy for me. I wasn't ready. But ultimately, I made it through and matched at UCLA for my surgery residency. Now, I was not the smartest applicant, but I told the interviewing committee that no one would work harder than I. And it worked. I got in. Work hard I did. Surgery residency up until 2000 had working conditions and hours now considered inhumane and no longer allowed. During my first 2 years, residents were on call in the hospital nonstop, 36 hours and off 12, and on the weekends, 48 hours on and off 24. I was often a walking zombie, but I never gave up playing. One Sunday in January, I actually went downhill skiing in the morning in the local mountains, catamaran sailing in the afternoon in the marina, and dinner out with friends in the evening. Only in LA, right? Now, because of these intermittent plays and these breaks and my previous years of organized sports, I had the physical and mental fitness and the willpower to handle this grueling training. And after residency, the UCLA Surgery Department kept me on as a vascular fellow and then as a faculty member. When I finished my training in general vascular surgery in 1986, surgeries were all done through big incisions. To do bypasses or replace blood vessels, we cut parts of the body wide open, like the abdomen shown here. These surgeries were traumatic. Patients often suffered long, complicated recoveries. Some died. So I thought, there must be a better way. So I played around with different tools, devices, and techniques to minimize the trauma of these big operations. My playful attitude also led me to collaborate with my colleagues in other specialties, orthopedics, plastic surgery, urology, cardiology, radiology, and engineering. Together, trying to figure out how to make fixing blood vessels easier, safer, and less traumatic. This led to my research and further development of a device invented by an engineer, David Auth, now called the rotablator, seen here, and it removes plaque inside blocked arteries through a very small needle puncture. Also, instead of cutting open the entire abdomen to replace a large aorta in danger of rupture, an Argentina vascular surgeon, Juan Perotti, devised a way to fix it by lining the aorta internally via small punctures in the groin. Now, my mentor, Wesley Moore, and I then performed the first such procedure in the United States under an FDA-approved protocol at UCLA in February 1993. Also, Dr. Moore and I, in 1989, wrote and published the first textbook titled Endovascular Surgery, which defined this new field and introduced the term endovascular surgery. And that is fixing blood vessels by going inside the blood vessels instead of making these big incisions. Some people at UCLA refer to me as Sam I Am, Green Eggs and Ham, because they saw me as the protagonist in Dr. Seuss's book of the same name, in which others resisted eating his green eggs and ham until they finally tried it and surprisingly liked it. So similarly, at the beginning of my career, many surgeons were resistant to trying these new ideas, and some thought we were actually crazy. But I persisted, and in 1986, I organized the first of many endovascular courses nationally and then internationally to train other doctors to try my green eggs and ham. Eventually, endovascular surgery became standard of care, and now virtually all surgery departments around the globe have added endo to the name vascular surgery, and endovascular procedures have largely replaced many open surgeries with significant benefit to patients. Here you see that the complication rates were far fewer in the endo group than the open bypass group, and the hospital stay was far shorter than the bypass group. Play had allowed me to see beyond the status quo and seek new possibilities. Later, I used this data, and as endo technology improved, I realized that we could do many of these endo cases safely in the outpatient office instead of the hospital. By doing these procedures in the medical office as an outpatient, we could minimize the cost and the time. A patient could have the endo procedure in the morning and leave the office within 1 to 2 hours the same day. But again, my fellow surgeons and hospital administrators at UCLA thought this idea was wild and crazy. They said, you're taking all these old, frail patients, treating their blood vessels outside the safety net of the hospital? They did not approve. So what did I do? Well, in April of 2006, at age 52, I retired from UCLA and left to start the first freestanding, office-based, outpatient endovascular center in the country, right here in LA, in Westwood Village. 10 years later, I published our clinical results demonstrating that this new concept was as safe and effective as any hospital-based treatment, if not better. Now in 2023, to its testament, there are over 1,000 such centers throughout the United States. If you think about it, in one generation, in a span of 20 years, the specialty of vascular surgery has evolved from mostly hospital-wide, open incision surgeries to outpatient, office-based procedures using small cuts and punctures with fewer complications and faster recovery. A remarkable evolution for me professionally, empowered by play. Throughout my career, I played and tinkered around to develop new tools and technologies to make endovascular procedures safer and easier. This has led to over 20 patents, the latest being the Entree, which facilitates procedures by organizing all the various endovascular tools and devices on a sterile operating table. Being a vascular surgeon is not always easy. It's serious work, and it's difficult sometimes. There's a lot of burnout in my specialty. But since I consider work as play, I can still enjoy it, stay positive, and overcome burnout. Now, while play can look like something we do, it is also a mindset of exploration and creativity that can be applied to even the most challenging aspects of life. Play has many merits. It promotes fitness, happiness, fun, social skills, mental health, creative thinking, character building, and more, all contributing to me personally a long, happy, and active life. Now, almost 70, I don't feel old at all. Having played sports all my life, I am still fit, right? Feel youthful, and lead a very active life. I plan to practice surgery for many more years, as long as I am physically and mentally fit, and for as long as work is play. Without my lifelong pursuit of play, I would not be who I am and doing what I do today. And I could not have gotten here without all the friends, family, and colleagues who along the way played with me. To them, I say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Sam I Am. Try my green eggs and ham. Free yourself to play and reach beyond what you think is possible. To play and beyond.
이 프로그램은 대한민국 과학기술정보통신부 방송통신발전기금으로 제작되었습니다.